It's always an honor to welcome to these airwaves President Donald Trump. President Donald Trump, I want to thank you for everything you're doing, and you're doing a hell of a lot. And first, this Lawfare, they wanted to keep you out of the presidency, and now they want to sabotage and undermine and kill your agenda. I see they're cherry-picking these federal judges in these liberal cities. Birthright citizenship, no. Free certain limited aspects of federal funding, no. Buyouts for federal workers, we're going to put that on. Take a look at that. Transgender prisoners, men should be with men. Well, we got to look at that. The access to Treasury data to do what? To conduct an audit effectively. Well, we don't know about that. The Democrat attorneys general, they've got their Obama, Biden, even some Reagan, one Trump judge, but we know how that works out. Sometimes you got to cut a deal to get these judges. And is the judiciary now taking over the executive branch, Mr. President?
Well, you get some very bad rulings, and it's a shame to see it, frankly. They want to sort of tell everybody how to run the country when they say that certain people in charge of massive agencies or people doing very, very important people, smart people doing investigations of fraud. And they don't talk about what you're looking at. All they just say is, oh, it's unconstitutional. But when you look at what's been found, the fraud and the waste and the abuse, but the fraud, outright fraud at, so many different places. Wait till you see what's going to come up. What's going to come up is unthinkable. And you can say it with great knowledge and with great, great flavor. If you want to say it, you can say it with great flavor because it's going to be dramatic. And it's a shame what's happening, Mark. It's really a shame. But judges should be ruling. They shouldn't be dictating what you're supposed to be doing. And why is somebody saying that you're not allowed to? As an example, USAID, you take a look at it and you look at the kind of things that we found, just point after point. Normally you'd find 1 out of 100 bad. Now you find 1 out of 100 good. It's just absolutely crazy. But we're making tremendous progress, I will tell you. The country is making tremendous progress. There's a light over our country right now.
100%. And in fact, I'm looking at this latest poll, and it's CBS. It's not a friend. I mean, and they're saying 53% of the people approve of what you're doing, and 70% say he's doing what he promised to do. And isn't that what's driving Washington, the Democrats, the media, and these judges nuts? That is, you're literally doing what you said you would do. The people voted for you to do what you're doing. And the unelected parts now of our government, the bureaucracy and the judges, are trying to prevent it.
So if I didn't do what I said I was going to do, we're not going to have a country very long because the country was in serious problem. I mean, we've made such a comeback. It's been amazing. But the country, it just is in serious problem. You look at $36 trillion in debt. If we're not going around looking for fraud, waste, abuse, and everything else, you're not going to have a country. So we're doing a job. People are shocked by what's been found. And Mark, I'm telling you, it's peanuts compared to what is going to be announced.
Isn't it amazing, Mr. President? So they attack Elon Musk. Look, I met him once. I don't know him. He seems okay. But he's doing all this voluntarily. He's trying to help the country. He's trying to help you. So now he's public enemy number 2. You're always public enemy number 1. People who work for them, they're trying to destroy. So anybody who dares to stand up to this massive Leviathan, this like big bowl of jelly, isn't that what they do? They just try and attack them. They can't even defend what this government's doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I see where they're trying to Donald Trump-proof places like New York and California. I mean, New York, the corruption in the court system is unthinkable. What they've done in the court system to people, and in particular to me and to others, is just can't be allowed to go on. And you want to help places, and you want to help the big cities and the inner cities and these states that in cases are horribly run. But it really makes it difficult to want to help, I will tell you. It makes it difficult when you're a victim of massive frauds, whether it's the courts or whether it's the bad prosecutors like Alvin Bragg and Letitia James, who's totally corrupt. Both of them. They ran on, I will get Trump. They knew nothing about me. They just knew I would get Trump. And when you see that, and then you see people fleeing the city, fleeing New York, and they're going because of incompetence, corruption, and many other reasons. You know, the reasons companies leave and people leave and jobs leave. And it's really sad to see, very sad to see.
And yet, despite all this, look at, I mean, I'm saying, I've never seen anything like this in 3 weeks. You're locking down the borders. People aren't even trying to break in, or the very small numbers are. You're moving the worst of the worst out. And, I mean, it's really having an effect. When I walk around, Mr. President, I go to diners here and there, or like you, I go to McDonald's or whatever. The fact of the matter is, people, there's an extra, there's a pep in their step. There's a smile on their face. They're very excited about what's taking place. Obviously, you must see this too.
Well, I hear from people from all over the world. I hear from leaders of countries that aren't even that friendly to us, and they say there's a light over the country and a light over the world, not just our country. They feel better. They feel safer. And these are countries that are, pretty tough competitors. And they feel differently. I can tell you the people in the U.S., they feel so relieved. We had grossly incompetent and corrupt people running our country. Grossly, they were incompetent and they were corrupt. It's a deadly combination. And we've done a real job in 2.5 weeks. We're being credited. Some are saying the best 2.5 weeks ever done for the start of a presidency. And that's good. I'm very happy about that.
Would you have ever dreamt that the taxpayers were subsidizing media organizations to the tune of tens of millions of dollars? I mean,
unbelievable.
Doesn't that explain? Yeah, doesn't that explain a lot about the media in this country?
Yeah. Well, when you say media, the radical left media, left.
Yeah.
I read about Politico and I read about others, and they're all left, way left, and you never get, you win an election. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing phenomenon. You win an election in a landslide, and yet you virtually all year long didn't get a good story. Think of it, which really tells you the public is very smart. But the money that goes to the media, and they call it, I guess you purchase a paper, and, they purchased a hell of a lot of papers for the money they spent, but it's corrupt, that, and I'm sure it's an election violation, and we'll have to see what happens. But it's a massive campaign violation because basically they're there to serve the Democrat Party. That's all they do: serve the Democrat Party. They're corrupt people, and it's become a very corrupt system because of it, and people lose confidence. But it really gets other people. If you happen to be on the other side, for instance, we just passed men in women's sports. We're not going to let men beat women up. You have to see boxing matches. It's horrible to watch. We're not going to let this happen. It's just little things like a straw. People don't want paper straws, and we just ruled that out. You don't have to have paper straws that explode on you half the time, ruin your clothing. I mean, they literally show pictures of these things that they're not meant. They're not meant to be. Paper's not meant to be used for a straw. And so even a little thing like that was trending number one. It's like, because I think it's a 95% issue, probably 95. Men and women's sports is, the numbers on that are just through the roof. And they stick with it. I watched on television the other night. It was very interesting where a Democrat, a prominent Democrat, I won't mention the name, but a prominent Democrat is trying to justify men being in women's sport. Now, as long as they do that, they're never going to win a race because, or open borders. Who would want open borders? Who wants to have people from all over the world pouring into our country? And I'm happy to say we have the tightest borders we've ever had right this moment.
Mm-hmm. Do you see your second time around here? Do you see things a little differently? Do you see? You feel like you're able now to really grab this by the throat, by the neck, because of your past experience?
Much different. Number one, I know a lot of people. I didn't know anybody. I wasn't in the world of Washington, D.C., but the radical left they've really lost their confidence. It was a bad election defeat. They lost everything, and presidentially. And they've lost their confidence. They've lost the strut. They had a bunch of real bad, very bad people. Very, very bad people. I actually think they're sick people. You want to know the truth. Mm-hmm. And what they've done. But they've lost a lot of confidence, and they seem to be different. Plus, I have much greater support than I have had. And, I won the popular vote by millions of votes. I won the all 7 swing states. You remember you and I talked, and it looked like I was going to do well. But nobody, you just don't win all 7. I won all 7 and won them easily. Won states that generally aren't won by Republicans, won them by a lot. So we have a big mandate. And it's really, I don't know why they should be surprised, but they seem to be really, they are taking it hard. If they go out and they pay Beyonce, as an example, somebody just showed me something, they gave her $11 million.
For what?
For an endorsement, I guess, because she didn't sing. They paid Oprah $2 million. They even paid a scam artist named Al Sharpton, total scam artist, Tawana Brawley. You and I grew up with this lunatic. And he's scamming them. Brian Roberts at Comcast, what he's allowed to happen to that company, he ought to be ashamed. It's a big campaign contribution. How he hired Al Sharpton is a classic, okay? It's a classic. When you watch the guy, he can't even speak. And, it's all a scam. But the good news is the public understands it. The public has gotten wise to it. They've seen it. And but how do you pay Beyonce $11 million? And then, they ran out of – now, they also ran out of money. They have no money. They spent $2.7 billion, and they can't raise –
That's what liberals do.
The final $28 million that they've been looking for a long time.
They raise a ton of money, and they're still in debt. That's what they do.
Yep.
Let me ask you 2 more questions, because I know you're busy, and I don't want to stop you from doing great things. How'd you enjoy the Super Bowl? I'm from Philadelphia, so I enjoyed it. But, I think 90% of the country after the half said, that's enough already.
Well, I think the worst moment was probably endured by Taylor Swift, who got practically booed out of the stadium. And by the way, they were really nice to me, if you saw that. But
I did.
Was very nice.
For 3 seconds, they showed you.
Yeah, for 3 seconds. It was not a long. It's sort of interesting. They put it on for 3 seconds. You're right, and the place went crazy.
Yep.
They got me off as fast as they could. I don't know if that's Fox or the NFL or who it is. I really don't know, but it was sort of interesting. I didn't care. I don't care. If I did care, I'd end up being a basket case. But it was people commented. In fact, when the crowd, because it takes a little while to look up at the screen, right? Mm-hmm. By the time they looked, it was gone, but the place still went wild. So it was pretty good. But she got really hit, and because they don't like it. The other thing I hated watching was the kickoff, where you have
it's weird.
People, the ball is in play, and you have 2 teams frozen in place. Mm-hmm. And it is the weirdest looking thing. I think it's so bad for that game. They want to reinvent the game. And I think it's more dangerous than the other way, frankly. They do it because they think they're going to help with concussions. It's not going to help anything. But it really looks horrible. I thought it was terrible. And the game, obviously, it was not a well-played game by the one team. I will say this. The Eagles were really, it was like flawless football. Amazing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even the first play, they called it back. It was a long pass. It was, either a touchdown or going to be a touchdown, and they called it back, a completed long pass, and they went on to get touchdown after touchdown. They really played great.
I guess my last question is, the Democrats are already saying they're threatening to shut down the government. Isn't it important to get in front of that and make it clear to the American people? If the government's shut down, it's these people. They want to shut down the government. They want to do these things because that's what they're plotting.
Yeah, they're plotting a lot of things, and so far it's gotten them nothing. They impeached me, they indicted me, they did everything you can do. They're just corrupt people, and you have to handle it as it comes. The good news is the American public is smart, and they understand it. They get it 100%. And these people are not the same people they were. They're fighting so hard, but it's not sticking. Nothing's sticking with them. And we're going to keep it that way, Mark.
Well, Mr. President, the country is excited. Forget about Washington. People are excited, in the neighborhoods, in the communities, in the cities, suburbs, and the rural areas. They just are. They're thrilled that you won the election. They wanted you to be the president. You're being the president. So all these Lilliputians, no matter what they do, the fact of the matter is, I just want you to know that. We wake up every day, and we're very, very excited about what is taking place in this country. So I want you to hear that, too. And we do appreciate
you. I appreciate it. I see it, and I feel it. And I'm looking at numbers where I see it, too. It's more than just look or feel. But we're gonna have a rich and great country again. We're doing things that nobody else would do, and that had to be done. And we did great in 2016. We did much better by 10 or 12 million votes the second time, and terrible things happened. Terrible, terrible things, a disgrace. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what happened this time is much bigger. It makes it a more important time. And I think you're going to see some things you're going to be very happy about. The American publics are going to be very happy with the end result. And we're going to really do a job.
Thank you, Mr. President. We appreciate your time. We know how busy you are. God bless you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much, Mark.
You got it.